Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope everybody's morning is going great. Mine is. I slept great. The videos went out yesterday. It was awesome. And today, guys, I've received some crazy information from somebody connected inside the Overwatch League about the Dallas Fuel. Now, of course, you want to take it with a grain of salt, but it is somebody that I trust. They are heavily involved with the league, and I do believe them. So I'm going to cover that information with you guys, as well as some other stuff about the Dallas Fuel in the first half of this video. And then in the second half, we're going to be doing my predictions for Stage 2, Week 5. Who's going to make the playoffs, guys? That's what we're going to be talking about in the second half. So if you're new here, guys, please do consider dropping a subscription to the channel. I upload Overwatch League content every single day. And if you're not subscribed by now, what are you doing, guys? Click that button, join the family, and you'll never miss out on anything that has to do with the Overwatch League. Also, guys, after the game today, I will be live on Twitch answering any question, talking about the games. We'll also be doing rankings of players, teams, heroes, a whole bunch of stuff. So join the stream, link is down below, and let's hop into it. Alright, to begin this video, let's go ahead and start off with a clip of XQC where he responds to someone asking, why is Dallas so trash?
Why is Dallas so trash? I'm not gonna talk about it. I'll give you one hint though. It is not Kyky.
Now, I think when he says, I'll give you one hint, it's not Kyky, he's telling the truth. Obviously, Kyky does have a big part in why the Dallas Fuel aren't succeeding. He is the head coach, and when you're the head coach, you have a lot of obligations and responsibilities to ensure that you put the team in the best position to win, no matter what. But after watching this clip and receiving the information I've received, it seems like Kyky is not the only problem and may not even be the main issue with the Dallas Fuel right now. I mean, clearly we all know they have multiple issues, from players, coaches, management, all around. They just have a ton. But most of us were under the belief that Kyky was probably the biggest problem of them all. But I'm not so sure of that anymore, guys. Alright, so you're probably wondering, well, what's the information you got, Michael? So I was told a few things about the inner workings of the Dallas Fuel. Here's the first one. Effect is the reason why Coco is not playing right now and has not been playing throughout this entire stage. Now, I wasn't told why he doesn't want him to play, but I was told that Effect was the reason that Coco has not played so far this stage. The second piece of information was that the Koreans are being put on pedestals in this team. So being put on a pedestal, what this means is that these Korean players, specifically Effect, is in a position where he has a lot more authority over the team than normal players do. Now, I don't know exactly who in the Fuel management is giving him this power. It could be Hastro, the guy who owns the team. It could be their GM. It could be Kyky. That is unknown information, but he is in a position of power in this team. The last piece of information I received was that half of the team wants Coco to play, or to at least give him another shot. I don't know what half exactly, but if I had to guess, it's probably the western side. Players like Harry Hook, Chips, Taimu, and Custa. You're probably wondering, well, why Taimu? Because if Coco's gonna play, that means Taimu's not playing at all. Personally, I don't think Taimu cares. He wants to do what he can do to get this team in a winning position, regardless if that's him playing or not. He also clearly has stated he does not enjoy playing the game, specifically Winston too. So I think he would prefer not to play and have Coco in over him. Also, him playing Winston is kind of ruining his career and legacy right now. If I were him, I'd probably want to be focusing on DPS, a role that I've always played, and trying to get better at it, rather than wasting time playing Winston when you're probably going to be replaced very soon. So it seems like the management is really out of control with the Dallas Fuel. No player should have more power than a coach. Now, I'm not saying that Kyky does have less power than Effect, but it does seem like he has a lot of influence on this team. And if he does have more than Kyky, then that would explain why this team is going downhill. Sure, he's Korean, he's smart, he's good at the game, but he is a player on this team. And not only is just he a player, he's a full-time starter. And player coaches historically haven't worked. Now, I don't mean players that turn into coaches. I'm saying players that are on the team currently playing, trying to coach the team, do not work. Misfits is a beautiful example of this. Prior to the Overwatch League, they were player coached for a long time, and a lot of people believe the reason Misfits never got to the next level and stayed where they were was because they were player coached, and the players on that team ended up making bad decisions overall. They also came into the Overwatch League with one coach, and this coach was an ex-player on that team. So this is a very good example as to why a player on a current roster, specifically starting, should not have coaching power. Sure, they can have an opinion and they can give that to the head coach, but they should not be making decisions, and they should not be a reason why another player is not playing. I mean, really, I think we can all agree at this point having Coco in over Taimu would be more beneficial. So I definitely believe that giving control like this to a player has led to the situation they are in. Obviously, it's not the only reason. Kyky still has not been doing a good job as a coach, especially if he is the one who is given power to Effect. If not, then maybe it is out of his hands. Maybe Hastro or somebody above Kyky has given Effect this control, and there's nothing he can do about it. Which may be true, because from some of the tweets we've seen from Kyky, he says it's out of my control, there's nothing I can do about it, and there's probably nothing he can say about it either. And if I was in this position, honestly, I'd probably be upset too. Maybe I wouldn't go on Twitter and fight with fans, but I would definitely be frustrated and would be doing my best to get a change. So this does cut Kyky some slack for me personally. I don't know the specific details on how much power Effect has, whether he's the one calling the comps, calling the players to swap roles, because whoever's doing that is just straight up doing a bad job. Regardless if that's Kyky, Effect, whoever is calling the comps and the rosters is doing a very bad job. So we know Effect has some influence on the roster because he is the reason that Coco's not playing. But I don't know how much control he has over it, because I feel like if he was in full control of the roster and calling who played, he would want Rascal playing more than AKM. And over the first stage, we definitely have seen a lot more AKM than Rascal. But I'm not too sure, to be honest. It could be him. It could be Kyky. He could be sharing it with somebody else. I don't know. I do feel like Kyky still has a decent amount of power over who is playing and what comps they're running, but obviously Effect does have a little bit of control because he is deciding that they are not playing Coco. And again, my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but I think Effect would rather play with Rascal. He's Korean as well. He's also more flexible, and personally, I think he's better. So this is some crazy information that I received. Obviously, you guys are going to take it with a grain of salt. It's up to you guys whether you trust me or not. I do trust the guy giving me the information, so I definitely believe that there is a good amount of truth to it. Along with that, there's also just a lot of evidence pointing toward it being true. If you do look at those tweets from Kyky, he has said it's out of his hands, there's nothing he could do about it, he wishes he could, and there has been a lot of speculation that there has been some power taken away from him and he doesn't have full control. As well as that, with the XQC clip that we played, he as well said that it is not Kyky's fault, and to be honest, Effect has kind of been out of control as of recently. He went and did that AMA on Korean Reddit where he leaked a whole bunch of information about the fuel, and if I were on a team, I would definitely be hella scared to go on Reddit and say all that stuff about my team. I would know that I would get in massive amounts of trouble. So maybe the reason he did it is because he is in control and wasn't really scared at all of any of the repercussions. It really does make sense at the end of the day that Effect might have been given more control than needed. And not just that, we've also seen players like Jake, Sinatra, who were coached under Kyky during the Team USA run of the World Cup, have come out and said things like, it's not Kyky's fault, we don't know exactly what's going on, and Kyky was a great coach for them. And my eyes have definitely been opened from this. There are issues that we did not know about. Sure, Kyky still does have some fault, he's the head coach. No matter what happens and what is said and what has happened, Kyky, no matter what, will still have some responsibility for the team failing. But it seems like it's not as much as we thought it was. And on Twitter last night, Kyky said this about the Dallas Fuel. In the near future, we will be releasing answers to the majority of questions the fans have. Also, we will do our best to be more transparent in the future. As we are closing in on things getting more situated, thanks for all the continued support. This tweet leads me to think that there are some big changes going on in the management. Whoever was in control of the team before and was failing them, whether it was Kyky, Hastro, the GM, Effect, some more of the players, this tweet definitely makes it seem like it is being changed, and now he is in a position where he has more control. At least that is what I hope, because we'll never really know if Kyky is the problem or not unless he has full control of the team and is calling the shots. If then they end up failing, then it's on him. But as of right now, I do believe there are other issues and it is not all his fault. So we should definitely start cutting him some slack and do our best to dig as deep as possible to figure out the problem. But that's basically it for this part of the video, guys. Please do let me know down in the comments what you guys think about all of this. Is Kyky in the wrong? Are you going to cut him more slack now? Does it seem legitimate that Effect might have all this control? There's just so much more to think about now. Let me know, guys. And let's move on to the second part of this video where I talk about my predictions for Stage 2, Week 5 and who I think will make the playoffs. So starting off tonight, we have the Los Angeles Gladiators taking on the Philadelphia Fusion, and this match is absolutely huge. The Gladiators are fighting for their lives this week. They have to beat Philadelphia Fusion. They have to beat the Boston Uprising to make the Stage 3 playoffs. If they lose one of these sets, they more than likely will not make it anymore. If we look at the Stage 2 standings, right now they're sitting at 6-2, tied with the Seoul Dynasty, but they do have that 3-map advantage. They're plus 12, Seoul Dynasty is plus 9. So if they win both of their matches, they will more than likely make it, even if they drop a couple maps. Now, if they do win like 3-2 or something and only gain 2 points, they'll be at plus 14. And if the Seoul Dynasty win their matches 4-0 and 3-1 or better, then they will be above the Los Angeles Gladiators by maps, and they will be the ones to make it. So Los Angeles Gladiators got to make sure that they win both of their games by either 3-1, 3-2 or better. If they do this, then they will make it. As for the Seoul Dynasty, again, in order for them to qualify, they need to go 4-0 and 3-1. If they don't do that, then they need to hope that the Los Angeles Gladiators lose a set. So it's a very tight race for the Los Angeles Gladiators and Seoul Dynasty. The London Spitfire are also 6-2, but they're plus 14 in maps, and they play the Dallas Fuel and Shanghai Dragon. I think it's fair to say that they're going to 8-0 this week. So it's basically on the Los Angeles Gladiators and Seoul Dynasty to see who will make that third spot and face off against the London Spitfire. So now that I've explained how the teams can qualify, let's go ahead and do the predictions. Starting off with the LA Gladiators and Philadelphia Fusion, this is probably one of the hardest matchups of the week, and it comes down to if the Gladiators can perform when it matters the most. Sure, they've performed at some good points in the regular season so far, but they haven't been put under pressure like this yet. They're facing off against a squad, Philadelphia Fusion, who are very good. They have a very wide bench, and they can run a lot of different rosters and combinations of players that will throw you off. I mean, for all we know, they could run Snillo in this game, and he'll play very well. They can run EQO, they can run Shadowburn. There's a ton of things they can throw at them. But on the side of Los Angeles Gladiators, they're also very flexible, and they can throw a ton of different strategies at the Philadelphia Fusion. We've already seen it in the past couple weeks. They've ran some really wonky comps and strategies that have caught other teams off guard. So this really makes an interesting matchup and a very hard one for me to predict. If I had to pick one of them though, it's going to be the Los Angeles Gladiators. Fisher, Asher, Hydration, Bishu, Big Goose, Shaz, Sure4, they're all playing so good right now. I think they'll perform when it matters. It will be close though, a 3-2 victory. Moving on to the next match, we have Florida Mayhem and San Francisco Shock. This one's very interesting. Both these teams have been improving at very fast rates. Both Dante and Logix have looked amazing as of recently, but the San Francisco Shock, I think, are going to be playing Sinatra tonight, so that will make this game very interesting. It depends on how well he'll perform. If he can play at the level of Dante, I think San Francisco Shock take this. If he can't, Florida Mayhem will win. So it really comes down to if I think Sinatra can play at a super high level in his debut. I think he'll play fine, but I don't think he'll play at the level of Dante. But that being said, they could run Dante some maps and Sinatra on others. And if Sinatra looks shaky in his first map, they might run Dante for the rest of the set. So again, another very hard matchup for me to predict. I think it's going to be very close, another 3-2, and I'm going to pick the San Francisco Shock. They did beat the Houston Outlaws last week. These first two matches are going to be insane tonight. I cannot wait. Moving on to the next one, kind of a doozy, Shanghai Dragons, Houston Outlaws. I got Houston Outlaws. Even though Shanghai Dragons got Addo and Fearless coming in tonight, I don't think it'll be enough for the Houston Outlaws. Probably a 3-1 or 4-0 victory for the Houston Outlaws. Moving on to Thursday, we have the Houston Outlaws and Seoul Dynasty. Now, the Seoul Dynasty are in the same exact position they were in during Stage 1. If they won out, they would have more than likely made the playoffs. They have to win out again, and if they do, they'll more than likely make the playoffs. Last time, though, they choked. They got 0-4'd by the Los Angeles Valiant. And not just that, they also got 4-0'd by the London Spitfire last week. And if they would have won that, they would have moved on to the playoffs. So Seoul Dynasty, I don't know if they're going to be able to perform under pressure. This is another tough matchup for me to predict, and I have this feeling inside me that the Houston Outlaws are going to win it and Seoul Dynasty will choke. But then I also have this feeling that Seoul Dynasty, they're that team, Lunatic High, they were so clutch before, they can pick it up and they'll finally do it here in the Overwatch League. So I'm going to go with Seoul Dynasty 3-1 or 4-0. Moving on to the next matchup, New York Excelsior, Dallas Fuel. Easy 4-0 for New York Excelsior. Dallas is going downhill right now. San Francisco Shock and Boston Uprising is the next one. This will be a fun rematch. They went 5 games in the last stage, and I think they'll go 5 games again. San Francisco, though, will win this one as well. Moving on to Friday, we have Seoul Dynasty, Florida Mayhem. This is the exact same situation as their match against Houston Outlaws. If they beat the Outlaws, they'll beat the Florida Mayhem. If they lose to the Outlaws, then they might lose this set, but I'm going to go with the Seoul Dynasty 3-1. Moving on to the next match, Philadelphia Fusion, Los Angeles Valiant. Doesn't really mean too much, just another matchup for the regular standings, and I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Fusion. The Los Angeles Valiant have gone from looking inconsistent to just looking bad. Hopefully Agilities comes in and can perform though. I'm really rooting for him. Moving on to the next game, London Spitfire, Shanghai Dragons. Easy wipe for the London Spitfire 4-0. Moving on to Saturday, London Spitfire once again going up against Dallas Fuel. Easy 4-0. Not much to talk about these two games. The next one is New York Excelsior, Los Angeles Valiant. New York will win this probably 4-0, 3-1. Again, I'm rooting for Agilities. I want to see him succeed. I think he deserves to be part of the main roster, and hopefully he can perform, but it's the New York Excelsior. It's going to be a tough matchup, probably 4-0 for New York or 3-1. Moving on to the very last match of the week, which will probably decide a lot. The Los Angeles Gladiators and Boston Uprising. I do think the Los Angeles Gladiators will win this 3-2 or 3-1, but similar to that first match against Philadelphia Fusion, this will be a tough one. The previous week, the Boston Uprising have looked better than they have throughout this stage, so they could definitely put up a fight here against the Gladiators, and there's always that chance that the Gladiators players choke. But again, I'm going with LA. I think they'll come through 3-2 or 3-1. So I got the Gladiators and Dynasty both going 2-0 this week. That means it's going to come down to maps. I think both Seoul Dynasty and the Gladiators will have close matches, but I think the Gladiators have a harder route, and because of this, I think Seoul Dynasty will have a better map margin and will move into the playoffs over the Gladiators. So I got Seoul Dynasty taking on the London Spitfire in the first round on Sunday, then in the finals, New York Excelsior will be waiting for the winner. I'll give my prediction on Saturday night about this, and thank you for watching the video, guys. Please do consider dropping a subscription, like the video. Also, again, I'm going to be live streaming on Twitch after the matches tonight. Come hang out, ask me any questions. It'll be a really fun time. We're going to do rankings, all that good stuff. Come hang out. I'll see you guys later. Peace.